Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out the GitGud Course. Instead of just understanding concepts, you'll learn how to implement them directly into your driving. What makes it effective is the approach and practical drills. Together, we're gonna focus on breaking down those complex concepts into small digestible bits that are simple to understand. Everything from the course was tested and refined during the years in coaching sessions, so what I ended up with was the ones that I saw were the most effective. Let's elevate your racing skills together. Now for the track guide. For turn 1, the reference for braking will be the 200 and 100 boards. I'm looking at 200 whenever I'm approaching it, but I will brake more closely to the 100. The reason why I still look at the 200 meter board is because I don't want to miss my braking point here. So I want to have like a secondary braking point or a secondary reference, because this corner leads to a huge straight. This is arguably one of the most important corners of the track, and because of that you really have to make sure you won't hook the entry. So I will brake around the 100, more closely to the 100, but I always look at the 200 as well, just to make sure I won't miss it. So around here I'm applying the brakes very close to the 100, but not at the 100, it will be too late. This is already a very late braking point. And what I want here is I want to have a super good exit, just because how long this straight is. So what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to generate a lot of rotation on corner entry. I'm doing this by aligning my steering wheel and applying a lot of steering angle right now, but at the same time dropping the brakes. So you want to make your highest peak pressure on a straight line braking, and then whenever you're committing to turn in, you should do an abrupt drop in brake pressure, because otherwise the car won't turn. The front will be overused, the inside right, and you won't be able to generate that rotation. You want to get almost half of the rotation before the corner, like right now. And the last part of the rotation I'm gonna get with a trail brake, but in lower percentages. Notice that I'm braking 8%. Another thing is that I'm not using the fixed setup here. I'm using the Ridgeway setups, and this is a very good setup, low downforce. You will gain a lot on the straights, and I think it's the superior setup to have here. But if you are running the fixed setup, you might have a lot more downforce, and this corner might be easier for you. If it's easier, you just have to carry more speed into the corner by braking softer. And again, while turning into this corner, we have this compression around here. I want the moment that I feel the suspension loaded and I'm touching this curve around here to be back on power. So this is like the key highlight of the corner. Notice that the moment that I'm touching the rumble strip on the right side, I'm already back on power. And if you will be on power, let's say here, that's already too late. If you will start being on throttle here, that's too late. Notice that I'm already at 100 here. You will lose a lot of time on this big straight. In terms of track usage, you can have like the halo on the grayish part at the middle of the orange and red stripes, and still won't be enough track. So you can use a lot of the exit. Now this one will be a big straight, so if you nail turn 1, then you will gain a lot of time here. For the next corner, again, I'm using a low downforce setup, so I have to lift here. If you're using the fixed setup, you just might lift to 50% and then go back, but I'm doing a full lift here. I'm adding like 1% brake, and I'm trying to apex around this exit road on the right side, this concrete part. So I want to bring my car here, and from this part, I'm gonna apply the throttle like that. That's my reference in this corner. And usually it works very well, using all the track here on the exit. And for the next corner, there's like a square of concrete on the right side around here. The moment that I see it, I'm applying the brakes and I'm downshifting to 4th gear. I really want to take a late apex into this corner because I want to be early on power. So braking in a straight line almost for the first initial touch of the brakes, but then quickly turning into the corner. And while in 4th gear, whenever I'm getting close to this rumble strip, I'm gonna apply the brakes I'm gonna apply the throttle, and you can abuse the steering wheel into this corner. Notice that I'm using a lot of steering angle just because there's this elevation change and there's a lot of grip on the compression right here. You might not use the front tires at their potential if you're not turning a lot of steering wheel. So a common mistake here would be to turn less than you think it's needed, the steering wheel, but there's some available grip on the front tires that you're not using. So for me, this was a big mistake in the previous laps. I was just giving away time because I was not using my front tires to their potential. So be sure that first you try to slide the front tires into this corner, and then if you see that there's too much, you will dial it back. But the main highlight will be getting this rumble strip around here, because this is going to give you a good line using all the exit, and it's gonna make a lot of lap time. Now for this corner, the braking point is the 100 board. After the 100, applying the brakes, notice that I'm using the space on the left side of the white line to open up. That's important. And while braking into this corner, you really need to take again a late apex. So I will go a bit straight and then cut. Notice that I'm not eager to get the curb early. I'm trail braking into lower percentages, and then whenever I take the curb, is like in previous corner, a lot of steering angle and cutting the curb, because this is gonna give you a good exit right here. You want to use this exit road on the left side. Now the next corner was my mistake in the lap. I think I lost here 2/10 just because I braked too late. I braked too hard. The braking point is close to 100 board here, but not at the 100, it's gonna be before it. And you really don't want to brake hard. You want to minimize the brake pressure here, because this corner has a lot of space on the exit like this. So because there's a lot of space, notice how much space I had here. You can use it, and you can use it by carrying more speed. So your goal here will be to find the minimum brake pressure while taking a late apex in order for you to use more of the track, like almost to the grass. If you're gonna go all the way to grass, but too early, it's not gonna be good because you're gonna cover super longer distance. But if you're gonna get closer to the grass and the apex later in the previous corner, it's gonna be perfect. For this corner, third gear is gonna be the best. So I'm upshifting to fifth because I already have the speed for it, but I want to take it in third. So I'm braking the moment that I'm seeing this curb on the left side. In the recording it's not so visible, but whenever you're on track, it will strike you whenever you see something yellowish on the apex. I'm applying the brakes, I'm turning into the corner, then I'm shifting to third and immediately back on power. The car will feel loose here, so you'll have to modulate the throttle, but do it in third gear. If you're gonna stay in fourth, the car is gonna be more stable, but you will lose a lot of time. Because we have this elevation change, so we're going uphill, the speed of the car is a bit lower. So you will lose a bit more of the RPMs, and fourth gear won't be enough. Now the next corner is flat out. You just have to apex a bit later, so you don't want to touch it here in the beginning. You want to touch it in the middle around here. Notice how long this curve is. Because if you're gonna touch it too much in the beginning, then you will track out wide here, and the next corner might be uncomfortable. So keep that in mind. And now for the last corner, the reference for braking for me, I mean, it's not a braking, it's just a lift. With a fixed setup, it's gonna be a smaller lift than what I'm doing here. I'm doing here a full lift. This panel right here, the left side. The moment that you pass it, I'm just turning into the corner. I'm aiming to get a late apex, so I don't want to hit the curb here at the beginning. But notice that I'm adding 4% brakes just because my setup has low downforce. I'm not able to take it. In your case, I would try to, if you're using the fixed setup, to do the smallest amount of lift, like doing like 30% lift and try to take it. But notice that I'm apexing very late here into the compression, and the moment that I touch the inside curb, that's the moment that I go on power. And in short, that's the track guide of Watkins Glen. If you enjoy the track guide, feel free to give it a like or subscribe. It will help the channel a lot. If you like my style, if you want to learn more, if you want to improve at a quicker pace, check out my GitGud course. And looking forward to see you next season. This was last week, so good racing. Bye bye.